Nintendine hasn't uploaded videos in 2 weeks, which is awfully convenient because this is around the time that Pokopia came out. This is around the time that the Switch 2's tails spiked, and this is around the time that it's undeniable that the Switch 2 has a major system selling exclusive. Like, this is not something that he saw coming. This was blindsided. This blindsided him and his agenda, and now he's retreated to Twitter where he's trying to gaslight people into thinking Resident Evil Requiem is selling poorly and that Mario Tennis is a flop. Okay, this guy is desperate to push the agenda through any means imaginable. And it is time we kind of spell this out for people who haven't been paying attention, who haven't been following along, that Nintendine is absolutely the stereotype of someone who will go to extraordinary lengths to try and gaslight you into thinking that the Switch 2 is failing. That they will go to extreme lengths to gaslight you into thinking that Nintendo isn't doing well with Switch 2, that third parties aren't selling on it, and there's nothing to play on this thing, that we have to boycott it for the cause. And the reality is it's doing very, very well, that it's very, very popular, that it has lots of games to play, and someone like Nintendine is just representative of a fringe online movement, something that is completely out of touch with the actual player base. And I do think that that's something that needs to be spelled out quite a lot. That's something that we do have to say is bad, something that we do have to say is a problem for games. This is a problem that we do have to say, is that someone like Nintendine and his brand of analysis is just so biased against Nintendo that you can't possibly take it seriously. Okay, this guy is trying to say that third-party sales are slow on Switch 2 when you can clearly say that clearly see that isn't the case by looking at the Famitsu sales charts or looking at the eShop charts. But that isn't indicative. That's just one region. That's just the eShop cards. Oh, the game key cards. Those were nobody's buying those. And with Pokopia, we've seen that people are indeed buying those. Again, his brand of Nintendo damage control is just falls apart if you just pay attention to basic reality. Okay, people like Nintendine do this very specific thing. If a Switch 2 is on store shelves, nobody's buying it. If it's sold out, Nintendo isn't stocking them properly because there is no demand for them. If something like Pokopia sells out, it becomes really successful, it's because they were undersupplied, or the store just didn't order enough copies. It's because there's nothing else to play. They always do this thing where they just kind of make excuses for Nintendo doing very, very well. Right now, I think the narrative is that oh yeah, well the Switch 2 is doing well because Nintendo fans. Yeah, so people like Nintendo, okay? People are going to go out and buy the console. What's the big deal? I don't understand the mentality you have of acting as if, Nintendo is, liking Nintendo is some, sacrilegious thing. Oh, man, he's not a real gamer. He owns a Nintendo console. Don't you know that only PlayStation and Xbox fans play video games? It's laughably stupid, okay? And again, I do think Nintendine has become kind of a meme lately because of just how adamant he is, how, assured he is that Nintendo is, falling apart and collapsing. And then, the week Pokopia comes out, oops, he's gone. Months and months worth of daily content. Oops, time to take a break from YouTube because Pokopia just flies in the face of the narrative. Well, I think Nintendine is getting in for a rude awakening because this is not going to be a one-off success. Tamagotchi Life is going to be a similar success. Next month, we're going to see, Pragmata do fairly well on Switch 2. We're going to see, all these games come out. We're going to see, all these announcements, the Direct. The momentum is going to keep building and building and building. And I feel this is better than Switch 1's first year already. But Nintendine's trying to do this thing now where he's trying to gaslight people into thinking that launch aligned. The Switch 2 is trailing behind the Switch 1. Like, yeah, hey genius, we got a 3D Mario. Like a couple of months into the Switch 1's lifespan. It's like, oh yes, the sales are lagging behind the Switch 1 because we haven't gotten a 3D Mario yet. Like, again, Pokopia, I would be surprised. I think it might be more popular than Mario Odyssey, actually. So this very well may be the end of that, like, entire stupid narrative. The entire idea that, like, well, the Switch 1 sold better, like, in October than, like, the Switch 2. Like, just, like, yeah, because Mario Odyssey launched that month. Like, it's a joke, okay? Like, what we're seeing is just the slow, gradual decline of the grift, of the narrative, and, like, Nintendine is just having all these problems just keeping up the illusion that he knows what he's talking about. Like, he's probably the most hated Nintendo YouTuber out there, aside from, like, myself. Like, Nintendine is just, like, despised by the community because of, like, how much he just makes stuff up, how much he grifts, how much he, like, he lies and, like, weasels his way out of things. And then when push comes to shove, when Pokopia comes out and it comes time to downplay the biggest release of the year, he turns around and takes a vacation because he's scared. He is terrified of what's going to happen to his channel when people start realizing it's all a big grift. You know, and that already kind of happened with the reveal of the Switch 2 numbers, because this guy was trying to tell us that, like, the Switch 2 wasn't doing well and the software wasn't selling and that Nintendo was doomed. And then what happens? You know, they release the numbers, they're extremely impressive, and, like, he has to do damage control. Like, I don't remember what he said because it really doesn't matter, but, like, you know, he did this thing where, like, you know, he was exposed basically and everyone clowned on him. And now he's like he's learned to kind of keep his mouth shut when it comes to numbers. But again, if he doesn't talk about numbers, if he doesn't downplay, like, everything that Nintendo puts out, if he doesn't downplay the major third-party games, if he doesn't downplay the Switch 2, like, what exactly is the point of his channel? You know, like, I remember when he said, when he acknowledged that he was completely wrong about the Switch 2 and how it was selling well. He tried doing this thing where, like, I'm going to pivot my channel to be more about retrospectives. Like, that's not going to happen. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to see you, like, do the millionth review of, like, Super Mario 64. You know, nobody wants to see you talk about games that other people have talked about. Like, your entire niche on YouTube was just downplaying the Switch 2. That's it. And without that, you are a complete nobody. Okay, Nintendine is a complete joke, and he knows that. That's why his channel is on the fritz, it's why he hasn't been uploading recently, and it's why he's so scared to make videos downplaying Pokemon Pokopia. No matter what he says, he knows that it's going to be completely wrong.